Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to the ECA Learning Zone webinar series, where we share our webinar platform with our commercial associates. This afternoon, we're joined by our ECA commercial associate, Amokabel, and ECA's head of technical standards. So we've got Gary Parker, who will talk a little bit first about the ECA, and will introduce our friends from Amokabel. Today, we've got Leah Daines and Carly Hunter. Before I hand over to Gary, just a note that you can ask us a question at any point during today's webinar. You should have a little speech bubble symbol with a question mark in it. Click on that to ask us a question at any point during today's session, and we will get to as many questions as we can at the end of the session. And finally, from me, feel free to check out our full ECA Learning Zone webinar series, all our recordings of previous webinars on our YouTube channel. That's at youtube.com/ECA Live. They're also all up on the ECA members area of the website. That's enough from me. Over to you, Gary. Gary, I believe we've lost your audio. No, we've lost sound for you, Gary. Whatever you did before to get your sound back, Gary, if you could do that again.
Turn it back on.
There we go. You're on.
There we go.
All right.
Excellent.
Over to you, Gary.
Thank you. That, if anything, just proves it's live. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and hope you're doing well. It's not too cold where you are in early November. We've reached out to some of our friends at Amokabel. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's my accent, blame me. Amokabel. I knew I'd get it wrong. And the reason we've done this and put this on today is, as you guys are fully aware, installations are becoming far more challenging. The world that we live in is difficult, it's hard, and there's so many requirements now that we have to work towards. But there's also so many really good solutions, and our friends here today have got possibly a good solution that you maybe didn't even know exist. So hopefully today they'll give you a nice presentation about a particular product they've got that can help save time, money, and make an installation safer for the end user, which is exactly what you guys need to be aware of. If you can save time, if you can save money, then it's a great solution to a problem that you might not have even known existed. So I'll hand you over now straight away to these guys at Amokabel.
Amokabel.
Well, close enough for somebody from Middlesbrough with a funny accent to pronounce. To give you an interesting presentation on a product called Flexi Shield that they've got. As Omar mentioned, feel free to ask any questions as you go in, or save them to the end. Hopefully you'll have some interesting questions for the guys, and hopefully you'll learn something today. So please, Carly, if you don't mind sharing your screen.
Lovely. Thank you for that introduction, Gary. I'm Carly. Hello, everyone. We are, as Gary rightly said, part of Amokabel Flexi Shield. So hopefully, Gary, can you see the screen there for us for the presentation?
Yeah, all good.
Brilliant. Okay, so if we just pop through. So as I said, I'm Carly. I'm the managing director at Amokabel Flexi Shield. So if you just ping through. Okay. It's not loving to work. Apologies for that. So just want to tell you a bit about the company at first. So some of you who have been in contracting a while may have heard of us, and not for the name Amokabel. We were once pre-wired conduit company, and also after that flex cables. So we have been going since 2003, but back in 2018 in June, we were acquired by a Swedish company called Amokabel Group. So the Amokabel Group is a £200 million business, and they are situated all across the world. The main office, the head office for Amokabel, is actually in Sweden. So we have a big manufacturing facility in Sweden, much bigger than ourselves here in the UK. There is also a company in Germany, Norway, Australia, and another one situated in Leam, Manchester. So we are part of that wider group now, which gives us a much bigger facility and a name that we can work towards branding. So we are now called Amokabel FlexiShield Limited, as mentioned, and our basic approvals have been in place since May 2010. So we do a range of cables, one being our flagship product. So the FlexiShield product is our flagship product, hence we put it in our name, and that's a BS8436 cable. That is the majority of our sales at this particular unit and factory in Mansfield. Another product in our range is FlexiPower. That is a 90-degree unarmored flexible wiring cable, and that's mainly for lighting circuits. FlexiMod is another big part of what we do. So the FlexiMod product, that is bespoke products for contractors. We do allow direct contract sales for that. And that is to accommodate individual requirement on each project. So we will do twisted cores, cables, mylar racks, in conduit, out conduit. That's just a small example, some with data, some without. So whatever the customer wants, product we can provide there. So on that note, we are going to do a bit of a presentation on our flagship product, FlexiShield, and I'm going to hand you over to Leah Daines to do so. So she will discuss that product.
So why FlexiShield cables? Why would contractors use FlexiShield over anything else? So contractors are saving on installation times, therefore they're saving money throughout projects. We've seen some large projects have saved up to 40% on manual labour costs. So this can be used on indoor and outdoor applications within commercial, industrial and residential buildings. So it's got a UV stable sheath as well as weather resistant. It's very quick and easy to install, strip and terminate. As Carly mentioned, we've had our British standard since 2004, so it's a BS8436 and an Irish approval, which is IS273. So FlexiShield is an alternative to the usual twin and earth, singles and conduit or SWA. So as you can see here, this is the construction of the FlexiShield cable. So we have our conductors, our plain stranded copper. We have a full-size earth and insulation is XLPE. We also have a foil screen, aluminium that's bonded to the sheath, which is low smoke. And as I said, has UV stability and is weather resistant also. So this is just a picture of the nail test, just to give you a better idea. So the BS8436 is part of the nail test. So if a nail was to penetrate through the cable, it will create a fail safe. So this is just a slight demonstration of sort of how that works. So the foil screening will be in touch with the full size earth. If a nails penetrate through, that will create a fail safe. So here we've just got a couple of features and benefits of why the contractor would use these. So the cable is quick to install, it's got the built-in fail-safe, the product itself is very lightweight and flexible. It can be used in multiple buildings, as we mentioned, commercial, industrial, residential. We have the full-size earth. You've also got the shielding of that foil screen, which is also bonded to the sheath, so it's very easy for contractors to strip. And the UV stable and your low smoke halogen free sheath. So typical applications would be partitions and building voids. You have your main power supplies, fan motor supplies, the compressor supplies, air conditioning and ventilation systems, and your lighting indoor and outdoor. So just to give you a better idea of what kind of projects we've installed into. There's just a list there. So there's a lot of hospitals, universities, colleges. We've done a lot of like council homes that have been refurbished. Prisons have been a massive one for us this year, especially. And we've also done a lot of like the John Lewis stores, Waitrose, Currys. So as we said, anything big commercial, this is the perfect product for. So a couple of methods for the installation. So it can be installed directly onto brick, stone, metal and wood. You can directly bury it behind plaster or in plastic conduit for rewirability. Can be put into cable trays, baskets, in roof spaces and also in ductwork. Can also be under flooring as well, which we forgot to add. So a bit of the technical performance criteria. So our range is from a 1.5 mil up to a 10 mil. So your 1.5 to 4 mil is the basic approvals all on for the BS 8436. And then you've got the Irish approval IS23 on the 6 mil, and the 10 mil that we've just brought out is to the BS 8436 standard. So they all have that built-in fail-safe. So your 1.5 to 4 mil is 300 to 500 volts, and your 6 mil and 10 mil is 600 to 1000. So a bit about the BS 8436, that standard, it must fail safe, the cable must fail safe under a minimum fault current of up to 160 amps. Our Flexi Shield achieves 200 amps under nail penetration. So a couple of the standards that we have to go through and pass, obviously the smoke emissions test, flame retardant test, acid gas emissions, and we have a CPR rating of DCA. These are our basic approvals. As we mentioned before, we've been getting these approved by BASEC since 2010. So we do the BS 8436 and our IS 273. These are all done annually, all tested through BASEC. We also have a lab here where we do the nail testing as well. So that was our brief little presentation. Thank you everyone for listening. We've got all of our details. We're going to send the presentation. So if anyone has inquiries after, please do feel free to get in touch. And we do have a short video, I believe Omar is going to show you, just to give you a little sneak peek of the factory and how we kind of make the cable, and going into a little bit more detail about the BS 8436 and a demonstration.
Yes, thank you, Leah. Thank you, Carly, for that presentation. If you bear with me very briefly, I'll bring up the video in just a moment. Here we go.
Amokabel Flexi Shield are a UK Midland-based cable manufacturer established in 2003, operating from our factory in Mansfield, where we produce a variety of cables, one being Flexi Shield, the original BS 8436 cable, holding basic approvals and CPR rating. This is where we manufacture our BS 8436 cable. The construction consists of a low smoke halogen-free jacket with UV and weather-resistant stability for indoor and outdoor installations. Bonded to the jacket is an aluminium foil screen which creates the fail-safe protection. The construction of each cable size contains a full-size earth. Our range of cables come as standard from a 1.5 to a 10 mil, in black and white from 2 core and earth to 4 core and earth. We can, however, produce special builds with different core colours, extra cores and different sheathing colours to a minimum order requirement. Flexi Shield is a flexible fixed wiring cable manufactured to BS 8436 and IS 273 standards. One of the main performance requirements within these standards is that the cable must fail safe if penetrated by a nail. This is achieved by applying a heavy-duty aluminium tape which is bonded to the inside of the outer sheath. It is in contact with a bare full-size earth conductor. Therefore, if the cable was penetrated by a nail, which hit the live phase conductor, the fault current would be broken. Meaning this cable can be installed directly into walls, placed into cable trays, roof spaces, and in ductwork, without any need for any additional protection, such as conduit. saving contractors up to 40% reduction in installation times, which within commercial and industrial projects can be a substantial cost saving. Other features and benefits of the product are it's extremely lightweight, flexible, and due to the construction of the cable, it's quick and easy to strip, allowing a faster termination process within indoor and outdoor applications. FlexiShield offers the market a safer alternative to the traditional cables such as SWA, twin and earth, and singles within conduit.
Okay, and we're back. So that concludes the presentation. I will now hand over to Gary to moderate the Q&A. And Gary, we don't have your audio once again. Apologies, everyone. Just bear with us while we get Gary back on audio. No, can't hear Gary. Do what you did last time, Gary. Nope, can't hear you yet.
No.
Apologies, everyone. Gary, what I'll do is I'll cover the first question that we've got here from the audience. Let me just pop my webcam back on. So first question here, is your product or are your products available in wholesalers?
Yes, so wholesalers are our main route. So wholesalers and distributors. We don't sell FlexiShield direct to contractors. So a lot of the wholesalers stock our product. A lot of their distribution centres also will stock this. So very easy to get hold of.
And a broad variety as well of wholesalers. So your Redmonds and Electricals, your ERFs, your Rexels, VWs, you know, most ones you will find our products in or have availability of our products.
Okay. We've got next one here. Let's just check on Gary while we're here. Gary, no, still can't hear you. Apologies, everyone. I'll move on to the next question. Does the cable mean RCD protection is not required if installed in walls without conduit? That could be a question for Gary, actually. But
I mean, it is correct. Yeah, I can answer that one.
Fantastic.
So it does mean that RCD protection isn't needed. It's the whole point of the product. You've got that built-in fail-safe, so you don't need the conduit, you don't need RCDs. Some sites are still using the product and using RCDs, I think because they're not fully understanding what the product does and what it is, what the BS 8436 means. But yeah, the answer to the question is no, you don't need RCD protection.
Thanks, Leah.
Yes.
Yay!
There you are, Gary.
Hey! It was very technical. I turned it off and back on about 6 times, and I think on the 7th it seemed to work. Brilliant. Sorry about that, everybody. I'll miss everything. Just to pick up on what was said there, this mentioned in Reg 522.
We've lost you.
Oh, Karen.
Sorry, Gary, we've lost you again, but you were just about to refer to what I thought you were about to refer to, which is why I put the question to you as well. But Gary is referring to a guidance note that we have recently published up on the ECA website. What I'll do is I will share the link to that guidance and a whole load of other links to more resources in an email that all attendees will receive about an hour after we close the webinar. That email will also include a link to your ECA professional development certificate. So stay tuned for that email after the presentation. So
just try putting these
Gary,
on. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yep, that's working, Gary.
I'm sorry, you've got me back.
Yeah, so as I was saying, Omar, I think you've just mentioned it there. 522.6.204 is the reg where this cable comes in handy, and it's been listed as an option in Indent 1 for quite some time now, but it's almost a secret amongst installers. People see steel wired armored MICC type cable, but the use of A436 cable is almost ignored, and as was mentioned in the presentation, it can save quite a lot of time in terms of installation, and even the stripping and the terminating can be quite quick. I suppose just a quick question for me for the guys: has there been any recent projects that you know that your cable has been used on and been successful in?
Yeah, so a couple of recent projects. So we're installing into Olympia in London as we speak.
Apple project.
Yeah, Project Apple down in Bristol. We've just recently, I think there's one more drop and then we're completed on that. The Bristol University, a lot within London. So we've just started installing into King's Road.
It's high-end apartment, so
yeah,
I think the apartments are up to sort of from just under $1 million to $4 million per apartment, so it's going into those. Just a better quality, safer cable to use.
Yeah, a lot of the new, I mean, we've done it in the past, but a lot of work that we've received this year as well, a lot of prison work. We've seen a lot more of that this year, haven't we? I'm trying to think of the other names.
We don't always, being the manufacturers, we
Yeah.
don't always get to the bottom of where it's going out to, as you can imagine, sort of having that middleman as a wholesaler. But we have done some legwork this year to sort of find out where those projects are and what's happening. So hence some of the new ones Leah's just said.
That's absolutely brilliant. It's interesting that there's an option for members to use this. They don't have to just necessarily do the same old. They can use things like the Flexi Shield. We've had a question in the chat there. Can this cable be used with C-type MCBs? And does it negate RCDs? I think we've covered the RCDs bit. What type of MCB is going to be used with? Is it the B curve, the C curve, or the D curve devices?
There is, so the type B and type C, to be honest, I will be honest, we're not super technical with what it is the electricians have to use. But what I'm going to do is send a copy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on our presentation. Bear with me 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm just going to click back. Yeah, so can operate 32 amp type B MCB.
Will operate.
Type B.
Will operate.
It depends on the application and the install.
Yeah.
But if there's
Brilliant.
any sort of questions with regards to particular installs, obviously we have a technical department here where, you know, any contractors are more than welcome to ping over an email to us and we can get them the more precise answers to each individual install over.
So yeah, we've just got on the brochure that I'll send to you guys, we have got a bit more information, and it goes into the sort of proactive device ratings and the test current values. So it shows you when you could use a type B, a type C and a type D, depending on each sort of current and where they're using it. So we will send that information across.
Brilliant. What did you say that email address was to contact you guys?
It will be, so it's on the end of the presentation. If not, it will be leah.daines@amokabel.co.uk.
Or inquiries.
Yeah.
Inquiries@amokabel.co.uk.
But our email address
that might be easier to spell.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And something that you mentioned in the presentation, you talked about you do the cable in white and black. Is it possible to get it in other colours?
Yeah, so we do a variety. We basically will do any sort of specific requests, and I think with us being sort of a smaller company, to obviously the bigger ones like the likes of Presmium, we do value ourselves on and pride ourselves on being able to provide bespoke and with sort of less of a cost implication. So we will always sort of ask for a certain MOQ, which is usually 1,000 on obscure colours. You know, we've had, unless we've got it in stock already, because we've had some runovers. We've got purple, for example, on the shelf. We've had all sorts of random requests before, but we will do that. We can do different build-ups as well of the product. So if that, you know, particular things need pulling through, but the colours can be any colour requested of us. Black and the white is purely what we stock.
Standard cable, but
Yeah.
So if somebody's doing a specific project where they need a certain cable, they can get into a certain cable color, they can get in touch with you. Ricky Stubbs. Now I think the answer might be the guys might have to get back to you, but Ricky has just asked, does this cable comply with a Diocese Advisory Committee, or DAC, for electrical installations and maintenance in churches? Is that a question that you've ever come up with?
No, it's not come across, but we definitely can find out. That's not an issue. Just write that one down.
I think we can, if Ricky in the chat doesn't mind, we can share your contact details with Carly, and then they can get back in touch with you. I suppose just another question for me. I mentioned at the start that this cable is being listed in 7671 now for quite some time as an alternate option, but it's almost a secret to an extent. Have you guys seen a rise in the use of this cable since 7671 has required more RCDs and there's been additional requirements, and then we've had increasing quality of installations in some cases? Have you seen a rise in sales?
Yeah, definitely. Over the past year, we've sort of seen a 20% increase through our sales. 20%, which is fantastic.
I think you know, as regulations are becoming tighter for installs, this is, our cable is specified a lot, so it's within that consultancy spec to ensure that they're getting a higher level of install, as opposed to, you know, your standard twin and earth. When you're dealing with buildings such as schools and hospitals, places that are obviously high footfall, a lot of people in, it needs to be of a higher compliance level. So we definitely have seen an increase, and I think as the years go on and health and safety gets tighter, and there's more regulations put in, it will definitely do nothing but go on the rise.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's nice just to give people that option, isn't it? In some cases, it might be best to use solution A or solution B, but if they don't even know about solution C, they'll never even try it or never consider it. So I think that's it from the guys in the chat. I don't think there's anything else in there, unless anybody drops something in fairly quickly. Just thank you from me and from ECA, just saying great to see this product on the market. It's an innovative one, but it also isn't. It's been around for such a long time, and it's a shame that it's not widely known about. So exactly, it's just nice to know that actually I can add on to this installation, or I can make this installation, and then it allows me to consider other protection methods, not just the same old. I know that you said that the email address for you guys is on the presentation, but if you want to just give that out again, if anybody wants to be in touch.
So do you want me to write it in the chat? Would that be helpful?
Might be. I don't know where the chat goes to.
Okay. Well, it is enquiries at Amokabel, which is AMOKABEL.co.uk. So if anybody needs any information, technical data, any questions about particular installs, please do send that over to us. Just a quick one that I did forget to mention when we were discussing colours and MOQs. We do in fact do a rodent repellent as well, so which is a yellow sheathing. It's great for sort of farming areas and also central London areas. So you know, that is another product within our range which is actually stocked on the shelf.
And that's again through the wholesalers that you guys work with.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Any more questions in the chat, Omar, that have come through?
No, that's it for questions from the audience. I I'll say thank you once again to everyone, and also a reminder that you will receive an email in about an hour's time. Oh, we just had a question come in actually. Can this be used in Thatch also?
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Very good question. Yes, fantastic. Thank you.
Yes. The answer to that is yes.
Yep. Brilliant. So yeah, there'll be all the links and resources that we mentioned today. They'll be in your post-event email, along with your certificate, your ECA Professional Development Certificate, and any other details that you'll need to contact Leah and Carly after the session. So thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.